road snaked through the countryside like an abandoned artery, stretching into the horizon, embraced by an unyielding darkness. Jake, an exhausted traveler seeking a shortcut, found himself navigating this desolate route, far removed from any signs of civilization. The only companions were the faint glow of his dashboard and the haunting silence of the night. As Jake pressed on, his headlights carved through the oppressive darkness, offering glimpses of gnarled trees and unkempt fields that seemed to whisper ancient secrets. A sense of unease settled deep within him, an inexplicable feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes lingering just beyond the periphery of his vision. His attention was abruptly seized by a figure standing by the roadside, an ethereal silhouette cloaked in a tattered dress, her form obscured by the veil of night. Jake's heart raced as a chill crept down his spine, but before he could react, she vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a sense of foreboding that clung to the air. Shaken, Jake accelerated, desperate to leave the unsettling encounter behind. Yet, the road ahead seemed to stretch endlessly, the monotonous landscape repeating itself in a disorienting loop. Panic gnawed at his insides as he realized he had been driving for what felt like an eternity without any discernible change in scenery. Fumbling for his phone, Jake's heart sank as he discovered no signal, cutting him off from the world beyond this haunting stretch of road. Determined to find an escape, he continued, hoping against hope to stumble upon a sign of civilization or another traveler. Then, an eerie melody filled the car, emanating from the radio, which Jake was certain he hadn't turned on. The haunting tune carried an uncanny familiarity, resembling a lullaby his grandmother used to hum. A shiver ran down his spine as he remembered. His grandmother had passed away years ago, taking that melody with her. The radio abruptly transitioned into a cacophony of static, drowning out the haunting melody before plunging into an unnerving silence. Jake's heart pounded furiously as he realized the headlights no longer pierced the darkness. Panic set in as an impenetrable veil of blackness enveloped him, smothering the world outside his car. With mounting fear, Jake slammed on the brakes, screeching the vehicle to a sudden stop. In the suffocating darkness, a chorus of whispers encircled him, a symphony of disembodied voices, murmuring words that seemed to echo from a realm beyond comprehension. Trembling, Jake felt a chilling breath brush against the nape of his neck, a spectral whisper echoing in his ear. "You shouldn't have come here." Driven by sheer terror, he flung open the car door and bolted into the abyssal darkness, his frantic footsteps echoing in the void of the night. Behind him, the road disappeared into an impenetrable fog, erasing any trace of his vehicle or the haunting stretch of asphalt. Hours later, disheveled and shaken, Jake stumbled upon a lone gas station. As he recounted his harrowing experience to the attendant, a pallor washed over the attendant's face. "You're the third person this month who's come from that road," the attendant murmured, his voice tinged with a mixture of dread and disbelief. To this day, Jake refuses to speak of that desolate route, haunted by the memory of that night drive, a journey that had led him to the precipice of an otherworldly abyss, forever altering his perception of the boundaries between the seen and the unseen. My name is Thomas, and the haunting memories of that fateful night still cling to me like a ghostly shroud. The forsaken estate, an imposing mansion draped in tales of enigma and woe, came into my possession unexpectedly, promising opulence but hiding dark secrets within its grandeur. As I crossed the threshold into its cavernous foyer, a sense of foreboding shivered down my spine, a warning whispered by the very stones of the house. The once stately halls now echoed with an eerie silence that seemed to choke any sound, leaving only the distant echoes of creaking floorboards and the hushed rustle of unseen shadows. Strange occurrences besieged me from the onset, a painting's gaze shifting subtly when unobserved, doors slamming shut with a force unseen, and the haunting melodies of a long-forgotten piano serenading the empty halls in the dead of night. Driven by an unyielding sense of unease, I delved into the estate's history, unearthing chilling tales of tragedy and a curse that had plagued the mansion for generations. Stories spoke of a family's torment, their anguished spirits tethered to the estate by an ancient malevolence. One ominous evening, a spectral figure emerged from the darkness, its ethereal form hovering just beyond reach. Panic surged as hollow eyes fixated upon me, wordlessly pleading for release from the curse's relentless grip. In a desperate quest for answers, I stumbled upon a concealed chamber within the attic where a cryptic journal lay hidden, a repository of agony chronicling the suffering of the mansion's previous inhabitants. The pages bore witness to despair, detailing the family's torment and their futile attempts to sever the shackles of the malevolent force that ensnared them. Desperation and fear collided as the house itself seemed to rebel against my intrusion. The spirit's fury manifested as a cacophony of unearthly disturbances, rattling the very foundation of the estate in a spectral uproar. In a final act of reckoning, I dared to perform a ritual, a supplication to quell the tormented souls and offer them the peace they had long been denied. But instead, the ancient invocation unleashed a tempest of spectral rage, the mansion convulsing as if seeking to expel the intruder who dared challenge its curse. Amidst a blinding flare, the house fell eerily silent, the malevolent energy dissipating into the night. The estate stood still, seemingly freed from its haunted past. Yet as I fled the forsaken grounds, a chilling sensation lingered, a feeling of unseen eyes watching, of whispers carried by the wind, a constant reminder of the harrowing ordeal that forever etched its mark on my soul. The nights that followed were plagued by fitful dreams and restless slumber. Shadows danced behind closed eyelids, whispering echoes of the forsaken estate's tortured history. Each night seemed an eternity, haunted by the residual presence of the tormented spirits. Weeks turned into months, yet the memory of that haunted manor clung to me like a spectral residue. Despite my attempts to move on, a lingering unease persisted, an unshakable feeling that the spirits had not entirely departed. Rumors spread like wildfire in the town about the forsaken estate, about the brave soul who dared to challenge its curse. The locals spoke in hushed tones, weaving tales of inexplicable occurrences, strange lights flickering in the dead of night, and spectral murmurs carried on the wind. Months later, a letter arrived bearing the crest of the estate. As I broke the seal, a sense of trepidation washed over me. Inside, I found a solitary photograph, a sepia-toned image of the forsaken estate, now restored to its former glory. Accompanying it was a cryptic note: "Your courage released us. We are free." The mansion, now rejuvenated, stood as a testament to a past mired in tragedy and redemption. But as I gazed at the photograph, an unsettling realization dawned upon me. The spirits had found solace, but a part of them lingered within me, an indelible connection forged through the trials we endured together. To this day, the memory of that fateful night remains etched in the annals of my mind, a testament to an otherworldly encounter that transcended the boundaries of the living and the departed, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and the echoes of the forsaken estate that continue to resonate within me. My name is John, and what I'm about to tell you is not a story. It's a nightmare that became my reality. Last summer, I rented a charming yet eerie Victorian house in Ravenswood. Excitement faded quickly as peculiar events unfolded around me. Whispers lingered in the air, and shadows seemed to dance in the corners of my eyes, even in the broad daylight. At first, I dismissed it as stress from finals, until the inexplicable escalated. Doors slammed shut on their own, and cryptic messages appeared on the walls, taunting me with an otherworldly presence. Desperate for answers, I dug into the house's past, unearthing a haunting history of disappearances and tragedy. The more I uncovered, the tighter the grip of fear coiled around me. One stormy night, a chilling scream pierced through the silence, freezing me in terror. I found myself face to face with a spectral figure, its hollow eyes fixated on me, beckoning me to follow it. Reluctantly, I trailed after the apparition into the basement, where I stumbled upon an ancient chest. Inside lay a weathered journal recounting the tragic tale of Emily, trapped in a cycle of torment within the house. With trembling hands, I recited an incantation from the journal, hoping against hope for release. The house trembled, a blinding light engulfed the room, and Emily's spirit materialized before me, her eyes filled with gratitude. As the sun rose, the house crumbled into dust, the malevolent force finally banished. I stood outside, finally free from the clutches of a nightmare that had consumed me. In the aftermath of that fateful night, the town of Ravenswood whispered about the mysterious disappearance of the old Victorian house. Some spoke of an inexplicable event that obliterated the dwelling, leaving nothing behind but an empty lot. For me, life slowly returned to normalcy. The weight of fear lifted, and I could finally breathe without the suffocating presence of the malevolent force. Yet the memories lingered like ghosts in the back of my mind, a constant reminder of the horrors I had faced. Months passed, and I stumbled upon an old article in the local archives. It spoke of a long-forgotten legend, a tale of a cursed house and the tragic fate of those who dared to dwell within its walls. Some claimed the house was a portal to the afterlife, where lost souls wandered in perpetual torment. As I read, a shiver ran down my spine. Could it be that my encounter with Emily's spirit was just one chapter in the dark history of that house? Or was it a closure to a chapter long overdue? To this day, I find solace in the fact that I helped free Emily's tormented soul. The nightmares have subsided, but every now and then, in the dead of night, I swear I can still hear faint echoes of whispers carried by the wind, a haunting reminder of the horrors that once consumed me.